Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Tarnation TV. TarnationTV.com is the website. Of course, YouTube channel is more important. YouTube.com/Tarnation. No, YouTube.com/@TarnationTV. Thanks for watching tonight. This is the Primetime Racing League. This is Friday Night Truck Series. Superspeedway style at Talladega, also known as Primetime Superspeedway. Of course, this is race number 16 of 16, or playoff race number 3. It's the final race of the season, so thanks for joining us. This should be a good one. We're going to take a look at points here in a second. Super close, as always. So what happens after the regular season's done? They take the top 16, they bump them all up to 500 even points, and then they keep on just tracking points. There's no elimination rounds, nothing. So it's super, super close. Anybody can win this thing. I mean, last week's winner, Brian Lovell, had like a win. Of course, that's a big deal. Before that, race number 1 was Ulysses Sandoval in the 96, but Ulysses didn't make it last week. So it's still close. As you can tell, I'm all by myself today. Sir Weston was unable to make it this evening, and Andrew Miller is broadcasting over there at the Top Dragster channel. I think they're with CCR tonight. They're doing a Fallen Drivers Memorial Race, so that's pretty cool over there at Top Dragster. So if anybody wants to give the co-hosting a shot, the seat's open sometimes, not all the time. That's Rod's chair, but tonight he couldn't make it, so we'll, I try to find a backup, and then the backups are busy doing their own broadcasting, so it all works out in the end. But hopefully I can do a pretty good job here tonight all by my lonesome. I shall do my best, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, Primetime Racing, we got a full field today. It looks like I'm seeing about 20 to 25 guys right now in the server, I believe. It's telling me 25. Of course, I'm one of those. But yeah, it should be a pretty good night tonight, like I was saying before. Let's take a look at the stats here. Top 16 drivers in the playoffs at the end of the regular season, as you can see right there. Number 1 driver, Denny Carroll. Right behind him, Brian Lovell, of course, last week. And it was Brian won the race last week, and Denny was in second. So you've got a 6-point spread from second to first. Greg is right there, only 1 point out of that, 7 points back. It really is anybody's race. And the crazy thing is, too, is you can see on that column where it says races, Denny's only started 14 races. So very, very consistent over the season. Even his lap count is lower, but still holding on to first. It should be very interesting to see what happens tonight. All those drivers are here. Greg, Brian, Denny. So, should be a good one. Ulysses Sandoval, I do believe, yes, he's here tonight too. So, he's down there in 7th. That's gonna be a tough one, trying to gain, 20 plus points. Because you got to remember too that the gap to the leader, that of course that's going to change too, because everybody showed up tonight. So, thanks again for watching. Tomorrow we will be at All-Star Racing League, back at the Superspeedway Series, and then on Tuesday, Maverick Cup Series resumes, and we will be at Talladega also. So it's a whole bunch of Talladega going on. The Maverick Cup Series rolls into Talladega, and then I believe Mexico City is the first week in May. Now that would make sense, because it's probably May 5th, let me guess. Did Ben do that on purpose? Yes, he did. He did. So the Maverick Series on the 5th of May goes to Mexico. So Cinco de Mayo. That'll be a good one. I've actually never raced that track before, but that doesn't matter. We're here tonight. Superspeedway Series style. Primetime Raceway. Let's see what these guys are up to. Probably up to no good. Right now this is practice. So let's take a look at the qualifying here. Qualifying is complete. As you can see there, your list. Top qualifier this evening, 52.438. Sir Ken Roberts, the number 55. Tim Anderson in at 33, right beside him. Row number 2, Brian Lovell and Mike Mangialardi. Row number 3, Greg Lovell and Dennis McCarthy. Row number 4, Danny Carroll, Ulysses Sandoval. Row number 5, Graham McDonald, Keith Bynum. Row number 6, Perry Bond, Robert Spring. Row number 7, Brian Rawson, Bobby Farrell. Row number 8, David Little, John Godfrey. Row number 9, Dan Lovell and Javier Negron. Row number 10 will be Cody Lamas and Terry Bombard. Row number 11, Rodney Sellens, Garland Oakes, and Mark Paglia in the back. Of course, everybody moves up one slot because I'm there, so Mark will be starting right next to Garland. And we'll see what happens this evening. As I said, too, Andrew Miller is usually able to back me up, and I'm usually able to back him up. But when we're both broadcasting on the same night, it's kind of hard to do that. But yeah, they're over there at CCR. Fallen Drivers Memorial, which is kind of neat. Obviously, Pops, Bob Dixon, David Cannon. This game has been out for a long, long time, and a lot of good people in the community have come and gone. So this thing shows no signs of slowing down either, which is kind of neat. I don't even know how I found NASCAR Race in 2003 season. I was playing I've been playing Papyrus games since I've been about 12, 13 years old in the early 90s, and then you end up just, every time they come up with a new one, you just gravitate to it. And they always had such a good feel to them. Playing other racing simulators, they're fun for a little while. You always come back to NASCAR Race in 2003 season, NASCAR 4, IndyCar racing, Grand Prix Legends. The community behind that game, somehow they've even got force feedback in here. That game originally that sim was originally released with force feedback wasn't even a thing. That's how old that game is. Somehow the community figured out how to get force feedback in a game that never had it. Going back to the starting grid there, I come across Keith Bynum. He does have 3 wins. You can see there his win column. He is the winningest driver this season here. This is season number 7 here. The Primetime Racing League. There's Friday Night Truck Series. But he's sitting back there in 12th position because, as you can see, he was only able to start 12 races. So even with the 3 wins, not enough. You've got to be consistent. Some of these guys have missed one race with some consistent finishes. For instance, look at Brian's numbers. He's got 2 wins, 11
Drivers,
top 10s.
To your cars.
Lots of points sitting there. Looks like we're gridding up. Are we gridding up?
Grid up, Gribbons.
Yep. Thanks, Bob. Graham McDonald's it was Graham's idea to find that clip, and we couldn't find it for the longest time. Ulysses Sandoval, I do believe, I eventually found that clip of Bob Dixon doing the grid up Gribbons. We would never catch it on the broadcast because he would say it in the TeamSpeak chat to all the drivers, and we were never part of that conversation. So Ulysses streams live. I guess he streams live. Somehow he got the audio clip, and that's very cool. We jumped all over that. So thanks, Ulysses. Thanks, Bob. We'll get a look at these guys as they roll off. We begin our journey in 76 laps on the way to the finish here to see how it's so tight who's going to come away with this thing. As always, these guys operate a few times a week. If you want to get over to the Primetime Racing League website machine and check out what's going on over there, they've got Obviously, they're running trucks tonight. I believe they run the Monster Energy 19 mod on Saturdays. They race. There's a few races a week that these guys do. There's lots of good leagues hanging around, and there's always good numbers here. Like I said, we've got about 23 guys starting tonight, I think. I noticed some people pop into practice, like they'll practice and everything, and then they won't race. So that kind of throws my numbers off. But once we get a lap down, we'll see an official count who pops up on the standings tonight. But as always, thank you everybody for watching on the YouTube channel, interacting live. We got Dave Little in there, who should be driving, root for the 083, he says. Of course, these messages on YouTube were sent before the race started, so no texting and driving is encouraged. Pace truck lead them through turn at number 3 and 4. We'll peel off out of the way here, and we await the green flag and see what Ken Roberts can do. Again, on Friday night, Rod Weston is usually busy on Friday nights. He was able to make it last week, which is kind of a surprise because he's usually not able to make it, but that is why I'm solo this evening. Race number 16 of 16, the Primetime Racing League is about to begin. 76 laps on the clock. Green flag is in the air. As always, we are running a 2 times multiplier for fuel and tires. Pit stop frequency is 2 times. Everything will burn away twice as fast as it would in real life. Pit window, of course, will end up being probably 18 to 22-ish. Look at the run that the 44 got. Brian Lovell like a rocket. Just sort of stay focused on Roberts there to see. Watch Tim Anderson pick him up. Denny Carroll slides up in front of the 55 of Ken. And just because you get the pole position in qualifying doesn't mean you're going to lead a lap. That looks like it will go to the 44 of Brian Lovell, last week's winner. Seems a little frantic. I don't know what it is. It seems... Sometimes it just seems like, it's going to be one of those races where it's just going to be entertaining, to say the least. It's always entertaining here at Primetime, but lots of moving around. We're already looking at going 3 wide, and we're on the second lap. So 76 laps is a long race, but these guys know what they're doing. And this truck mod is probably one of the best at this track. Very, very popular. In our little corner of the NASCAR community over here, there seems to be a lot of leagues that really do lean on Talladega. Right now, the Rolling Thunder Gaming's in a little bit of a break. They usually take a couple of weeks off after the Rolling Thunder Thursday Night Talladega Challenge Series. Wrapped up last week, so of course we didn't race yesterday. I don't believe we're racing next week either. Tarnation TV will be in talks with those guys to see what they want to do moving forward. They've had us on there the last 2 seasons, which is super, super cool, because that's their big. So it looks like Ross. Is that Rawson? Give it a shake back there. I'll find the 6 truck here. Oh, it looks like he's lagging a little bit. That's unfortunate. That happened last week too. We'll keep an eye on the 6. What'll happen is the internet will kick out on him, and if you're like watching it, the car disappears. Well, the car that disappears, what he sees is absolutely nothing. He's running with 30 other guys, and then all of a sudden they all disappear. So his connection drops. He sees no other vehicles on the track, and that's kind of scary. And usually what'll happen, they just pull over to the apron. That way, if they do pop back in, they don't cause a major accident. We just saw Ken get pushed to the outside there rather aggressively. He was able to hold on to it. Dennis McCarthy in front of him on that middle line. Or it would be a little wide if they were 3 wide, but you know what I mean. Middle of the track, middle lane. Not the shortest way around the track, but definitely the fastest. It seems to be the most stable. I was going to say, I was just going to say, you're going to start seeing people pop up and join Perry Bond in that Red Bull rig, being one of them. Music at the beginning of the broadcast, if you're wondering who it was. That's a Corrosion of Conformity. I'm getting away with playing that stuff. It's kind of cool. YouTube's funny sometimes. They'll completely delete the video if it's like a banned song. But I think in the last few years, they've really lightened up on it. What will happen is they'll allow you to play the music. It'll just get a copyright, like a flag, but it's not a penalty of any kind. It's just letting you know, hey, if you make $1 million on this video, Corrosion of Conformity is going to take it because you use their music. So this video would not allowed to be, it won't be allowed to be monetized, but you know what? It's not monetized anyway. We don't have enough subscribers, so. Massive success last week too. The ALS race that was organized by Kelly Causey, who is not on track tonight. Raced over $7,000 in that race for Team Elmo 200 2026. Absolutely, like, just mind-boggling that a racing sim that's like over 20, what is it, like 23 years old, can pull that many views, that much interest in sponsorships, because they sell all the car paints are sold, parts of the broadcast are sold, people sponsor different things, and then there's a car auction which closes just before the race starts. A couple of those cars sold for over $300. Every single car in that race was bid on. There was no driver in that race at the Elmo 200 last week that didn't have a sponsor, like didn't have a bid on it. Everybody had money attached to their car. And to raise that much money, the Shuckers put down $3,000 as their baseball franchise. Which wasn't included in the number on the ASL or the ALS website. And at the beginning of the race, it was like 3,200. At the end of the race, it was just over 3,600. So even during the race, we almost generated $500, plus the $3,000 that sits in the background that was donated by the Shuckers. So like, yeah, that race was up around $7,000 total. All kinds of money generated too, because yeah, we had the Cannon Hinnant Memorial Race, the End Gun Violence 120 there. That was another big success. That raised $500, $600, $700. I don't even know. Brian told me the number. I can't remember. But being able to generate money for charities on the Old Faithful NASCAR race in 2003 season. Everybody here running straight line, of course. We got Graham McDonald in the lead, followed by Ulysses Sandoval, Denny Carroll. Graham's got 7 laps led so far this evening. And the other 2 being led by Brian Lovell. And like I said, Ken Roberts was the pole sitter. It did not lead the first lap, so. I wonder if there's bonus points. Some leagues will do that too. Some leagues will do bonus points for getting the pole position. I don't know if they do that here. I do not believe that they do that. You may have seen too, the last week or two on the schedule, we had a race scheduled to go off here at Primetime on Monday. We used to broadcast some races for the Mobil 10 series organized by Toby Roberson. And he reached out to us there a few weeks ago. They were going to do a race last Monday. You may have seen that it was on the schedule. Of course, the schedule I'm talking about is this one here. ASR tomorrow and Maverick on Tuesday. But we did not run that race last Monday. It had to be postponed, so stay tuned. Toby Roberson does want to get the Mobile 10 series rolling again. He uses the DMR 12 mod. The DMR is a fantastic mod team. Very, very cool to see some different mods. Always different mods popping up. And that is hosted here at Primetime Racing. So all the racing servers, the TeamSpeak channel, everything else, like I said, in the description below, you can find Primetime stuff. They're on Facebook. They got the website. Multiple series every single week. And they're usually pretty full because that's what you're seeing right here. 23 people starting this race. A little bit more space at Talladega too. Sometimes you get it's a very different style of racing depending how many cars are here. Drivers, trucks. Because when you got a full field of like 40 people, the bump drafting is a little bit different. You gotta be careful because, you know, as you bump draft, it sends a ripple through the field, and that amplifies to, by the time you get to the back, it's an absolute catastrophe. Little field like this, not even little, like a half field like this of 23 drivers. Lots of good drivers out here, lots of good racing. Can be a little bit more aggressive with the bumping because the ripple effect won't amplify as much because we're only running with 23 people instead of 40. Best of the best, though. These guys love this track. We'll see them now. They're going to claim the bottom. Start running near that yellow line. Within the next 3 or 4 laps, probably going to start to see pit stops. Different strategies by all the drivers. You never really know. We always knew Bob Dixon would go in 3 laps early. 2-3 laps early. He always liked to just stay away from the chaos, if you will. Speaking of which, did I set up my pit lane cameras? No, I did not. Let's get that ready, because that tends to be a lot more fun when we can actually see the cars coming to the pits. I don't know why the stock cameras, when the people make tracks, they always have the camera looking down pit road. I don't like that. I want to see people coming in. It's crazy to think too, the amount of laps led or run in, you know, a series like this. Like right there, you know, 1,997 laps. So Brian Lovell has completed. Mike Mangialardi has completed every single lap this season, 1,138 laps. And the fact that it tracks all that is pretty awesome. Which is 3,027 miles. I had to put that into the calculator because heaven forbid I'd know how to do math live off the top of my head. That ain't gonna happen. And you think, being a simulator, and you've got Mike Mangialardi, who's probably driving the 29 truck. Over 3,000 miles he's driven in this series the last 16 weeks, or last 15 weeks. Obviously, this is the 16th race. That's a lot of miles, and it's a simulator, right? So yeah, of course you haven't driven a real vehicle that far, but that's a lot of time in the seat. You know, and when stuff happens on the track, you know, you get wrecked out in the first couple laps. guys get angry. You know, that's understandable. Put a lot of time into racing, practicing, getting ready to go, then to have your race end, because they do run moderate damage here. No takers this time by. We're still a little bit early. I'm thinking we're probably still 2 or 3 laps away before we see anybody head down to pit road. It's usually about lap 19. Start of lap 18 right there. We'll work our way backwards to the field here. There's Dan Lovell in the 18th spot. 19th spot, that's Dave Little. Hasn't sent out a message on the YouTube channel since we started, so that's good. He's not texting and driving. Mark Paglia right behind him. Terry Bombard in the 10, driving that maximum overdrive truck. There's Perry Bonney. Was up a little farther there at the start of the race, but now he's falling back to the back of the pack. Might be part of the plan, though. 76 lap race. It's a lot of laps. Sometimes it's a good call just to kind of sit back there and watch. Graham McDonald's still leading this thing. This will be lap number 16, led by Graham at the start of lap number 19. Ulysses Sandoval in second, Denny Carroll in third, followed by Brian Lovell. Greg Lovell right there in fifth. Tim Anderson in sixth. There's Bobby Farrell. Keith Bynum with 3 wins on the season, but only 12 starts, unfortunately. Wasn't able to make all the races. If he was, he'd be contending for the championship here, I think. Looks like we've got some takers. Most of them are coming down about half the field right here. And it looks like a clean pit entrance. I'll crank up the zoom on this thing. I'm sure that this pack here, so Ulysses Sandoval will get credit for leading a lap after that. Decided to stay out. These guys will probably opt to come in now too. Yep. Ulysses sparks him up. Lamas locked him up real bad. Bumped into the 41. Denny Carroll. Not good for Denny. The yellow flag will not come out in that situation. As you can say, we remain green. As you can see, we remain green. The reason for that is it's not in the racing surface. It's not. The game sort of looks at who's on the track, who's in the racing groove. And if a wrecking vehicle was to impede that momentum, that would bring out the yellow. Because it happens below the yellow line and kind of off the main racing line, it doesn't even see it. These guys will blend back in with that lead pack. Greg Lovell being credited for the lap leader the last time by. He's right about there. So everybody's going to kind of bleed back together here. Looking for a push from Ulysses. He's probably going to get it. So like I say, it's very early in the race. Now the 24 and the 41. Looks like they're in good position, but that's not going to last long here at Talladega Superspeedway. The aerodynamics here are a little bit different as they run wide open the whole time, bouncing that needle right off like 9,000 RPM. And when you've got, as you can see in the rearview mirror, 7 trucks coming, they're moving way, way faster than 2 trucks. So they can get out in front, but it's not going to last long. You see here now, they've caught them, but it's all sort of stabilized there now. You got Rodney Sellens on the top side there in that bright black rifle. Coffee sponsor. Habana Brisa. Actually got hired on by, I don't even remember how it worked. Rodney posts his car renders of all of the units that he paints for this game. And somebody saw it and went, hey man, can you design a car for our race team? An actual race team? So good old Rodney Sellens, NASCAR Racing 2003 driver and painter, gets the call from a race team, the Habana Brisa, with the Habana Brisa sponsor, to design a car for them, and landed on a real car. Him and the family got to sit behind the wall in the pit stall at that race too at Talladega, which is his home track. I don't know how it happened. I guess they work with the people behind the scenes to make sure they can make the graphic compliant. Because NASCAR has rules of where everything has to be. You know, number has to be here, and can't have stuff here, and you need space here for this and that, and whatever else. But they work together, sending the artwork back and forth, and then once it's hit the requirements, boom, they put it on the car. And I believe he has the hood hanging in his house. A year or two later, the hood showed up. As always, these guys are putting on a clinic. You can see now they're kind of a different setup. We're running a third line way up top. Nobody on the inside. Middle lane is heavy. And they're not going to give that up either. So it's not the shortest way around the track, but it definitely is the fastest. Your leader right now, Denny Carroll in the 41. Of course, I can put the scorecard up here to remind everybody, like the point gap coming into the race. This isn't like the live updated thing. This is after 15 races. Coming into this race, this is what it looked like. And that's your top 10, of course. There's actually 16 playoff drivers. But for the sake of screen space, I cropped it off at 10. And the way this works too, oh man, Dave Little up there. A little bit off the pace, we'll go a lap down. Primetime Racing League will update the points after the race is complete. So I can do some loose math and we can speculate, but that's 100%. Anything I say is 100% unofficial as far as results go for this race. But Graham and his team will run the initial export through the software. It will compile a new list, and we'll be able to show you a fresh rundown of the points and who actually wins the championship tonight, because I don't want to get that wrong. And even that's unofficial, because they're just running the export that gets spit out after the race is over. Pending review, they have to go back and watch the replays, assess any penalties that need to be assessed, and then they'll be adjusted. So if something gets missed, you could actually have the championship taken away from you. See Ken Roberts on the bottom there in that black truck with the flames, sponsored by Wickers. He just doesn't really know. I don't know what it is. He can't really find a spot. He's trying to find who he wants to run with right now early in the race. Ken is kind of He's feeling out different lines, I think, trying to see where he wants to be, because he's making a lot of lane changes, which isn't going to be the fastest way to get around this track. But the fastest way to get around this track is finding the right people to run with. So you can see now he's got Rodney behind him and Tim Anderson, seeing if they can build some momentum on that low side. See if they can reel in Graham McDonald, Denny Carroll up front there, who've been dominating this race. Again, Graham McDonald, 16 laps led. Denny Carroll, 8 laps led. Brian Lovell has 2, and then Ulysses Sandoval and Greg Lovell have 1 each. There's Greg. He slides down to the low line to pick up Ken, Rodney, and Tim. That middle lane is still pretty strong, though. There's Mark Paglia at the tail end. He's got choice now. Does he go low? Yes, he does. Lots of momentum there. You can see him. I mean, he could have lifted and stayed behind Keith, but he would have lost a lot of track time, or a lot of track position. There's the push, the effect of the push right there. Great camera angle. Again, I say it every week. On Reddit, there's a user named NR Clips, and he does camera files, which is not easy to do. The old legacy software that comes with this thing. I never figured out. I never got into track building, which means I never needed to learn how to use the camera editor. It's all text-based, I think. You're just putting in numbers and hoping, running the game and hoping it works. I'm wondering with a dual monitor if you could actually have the game running, and then when you save the camera, if it actually live updates. I don't know. Probably not that easy. Oh, now we're too wide up front here. They just split it up. Good move by Graham. Because he could see that bottom line. Has the numbers now. It's right on board. View from the deck lid of the 24 of Graham McDonald. Free cam, who I'm using to do this, but thanks to Tyler Mallon for somehow creating this thing. Graham McDonald very strong up front today. A Dodge Ram. See Graham there in 10th. Even with a really good finish, the problem is everybody above him is still here. Actually, I don't believe Billy's here. I don't see Billy. No, Billy Elliser did not make it tonight. But we do have Brian Rawson, Ulysses Sandoval, Mike Mangialardi, Tim Anderson, Bobby Farrell, Greg Lovell, Brian Lovell, Denny Carroll. They are all here too, so that's going to be tough. It's probably not really going to happen mathematically speaking. Now, if those drivers didn't start the race, it's a totally different story, because then you just get 0 points. Or provisional points, which is like the last place. Lap number 35. On Tuesday at Maverick, I do believe they are running a different version of Talladega. I want to say that it's the 2023 version. This version here, Primetime Superspeedway, retextured by that guy right there, John Godfrey. All based off the original Talladega track. I'm not 100% sure if the newest custom Talladega, which I actually use in my replays a lot because it's got different stuff going on the sides of the tracks, and it's got a big Talladega flag which looks cool blowing in the wind. I'm not sure if that's based off of this or if they started that one from scratch. Either way, it's always fun. John running there in 16th spot, right behind Perry and Mike Mangialardi. Now their interval last time by to the leader was just over 9 seconds, 9.16. We'll see when they cross the line. That little black ticker in the top left there, the 14th position, number 29, is who we're focused on now. Do they gain from 9.1, or do they remain the same, or maybe even lose a little bit? 9.1 turns into 9.4, so they're losing a little bit of space. Little bit. Not a lot, but they're definitely not gaining, so that's not good for them. But it's not a total loss, because they are traveling in numbers. There is 5 of them. Brian Rossum was able to get reconnected again. Looks like his connection has stabilized. I think he was about 8 or 9 laps down, and you'll see on the ticker they've given him a lap back. So he's only 2 laps down right now. I believe that is the rule. If you have a mechanical failure like that, once you get back on track and start racing again, they will give you all of your laps back except 1 from the last place car. So because David Little is minus 1 lap, then Brian will be minus 2. We can still get those laps back if we have some lucky dogs. If we have some yellow flags, that's the thing. We're just about halfway through this thing. And then everything is A-okay. Oh, are we pitting again already? Yes, we are. Graham McDonald dominating this race did not... Oh, he saved it. Did not look like he was in good shape to come down the pit road right there. Whoa, I just about lost control of my drone. Apologies if you are seasick, that you may have been compromised. Okay, so where's the lead pack? All right. Lead pack now being led by the 388 of Dan Lovell. No, was he a lap down? Dan's a lap down. Where's the first place car? There it is. Mark Paglia is spinning out and rolling. What? Oh, no. Hopefully, Keith, give him a little... Nope. You're going to need to get a tow, mister. Oh, that's unfortunate. Although, it's not too bad, because he basically has to get a tow from here all the way over to here, I think. Yep. So that's not too bad. If you were just past the pit entrance, then you got to go around the whole track. I'm going to back that up and take a look at that. That was like a... What do they call that? Like a wheel grab or something? It's weird because he spun out all by himself and then the truck just went sideways. Let's see it here now. You know what? Slow motion. Back up. Yeah, again, when you get these multiple multiple drivers pitting at once. Mark just, I mean, he barely contacted Greg. Yep, all by himself. Everybody's avoiding him. And then the thing just hooks and rolls. Actually bounced off the 63, which allowed him to make the commitment cone. And then he is belly up right across pit lane, and you've got another pack of cars coming, so he did the right thing and just got the tow, because that was kind of a roadblock situation, if I do say so myself. So currently, Paglia now, did he retire? Yes, he did. Retired trucks this evening, Terry Bombard and Mark Paglia. Terry Bombard. Why did Terry retire? Well, we're going to go find out. Instant replay of the 10 truck. Let's see what happened to him. Into the pits. Got spun around a little bit. No major damage there, though. Oh, wow. Yeah. That is frustrating. I wonder... Oh, man. That is really bad luck. Ay. So he can't get down to his pit stall. I wonder if he's going for that Indianapolis Colts one. So, because he tries to back up to get an angle on... Yeah. And then steers in front of Rawson. And then called it a night right there. That's unfortunate. He didn't see him coming in the rearview mirror, so... Okay, so there's Gray McDonald. He was leading the race. He's now back in 14th. Had got in the grass a little bit there. Not last pit stop. I think it was the one before. But like I said, lucky enough to come out with a bunch of people with him. Being able to hold that 195 to 200 mile an hour speed. With Garland Oaks, Robert Spring in the 74, and Ulysses Sandoval, all of those guys on the lead lap. So your leader now, Denny Carroll, followed by Javier Negron. Great pit stop by Javier. Races are won and lost on pit road, and there's, Javier wasn't doing bad, but he wasn't up in the top 5. And here he is now, right behind the leader, Denny. And then Graham, who had 23 laps led on the night, currently running in 14th, 20 seconds behind the leader. 30 seconds behind the leader. It can happen that quick. A little bit of a mishap on pit road, especially under green flag conditions, you're done. A lot of track position. They always talk about track position. Green flags and pitting, you need to be perfect. Sometimes you need to be better than perfect. Break the rules a little bit. Some guys, do the hot pit. Pit road speed limit is 55 mile an hour, but I've seen guys hit that line doing 100. As long as you're slamming the brakes on. NASCAR 2003 will not penalize you until you take your foot off the brake and you're under the speed limit, which I've actually never tried myself, but currently focused there on the 083 at David Little, who is a lap down, by the way. He's in 17th spot, right behind the second place truck. Bobby Farrell dips down low. David Little being a lap down. He's 1 lap down. That's a pretty good spot for him just because he's not on the lead lap. If something was to happen and we get a yellow flag condition, he would be the lucky dog and get his lap back. If he was in front of the leader, like he is right there, technically now he's at the end of the lead lap, which would then open up that for Dan and Robert. Two by two, 4 trucks in each lane. You can see Cody Lamas there in the Florida Panthers 48, right behind the 40 of Javier Negron, Denny Carroll, and David Little. And then on your low line, Rodney Sullins, who we were just riding along with. Looking back at Bobby Farrell. I see, yeah, Bobby Farrell, Dennis McCarthy, and Ken Roberts. Denny was still able to lead that last lap. And, you know, I'm pushing a lap down driver like Little is, you know, he's not damaged. He's clearly not off the pace. Rodney will get credit for leading that lap. But that's kind of a good thing there for Denny in the 41, I think. David's a lap down. Or close to it. He's at the end of the lead lap. Undamaged, running at pace. Creating the windbreak, which will save Denny some fuel. So he's using David create that tunnel and save a little bit of gas. It's not huge, but it does add up. You know, if you're back there running behind a guy for 15, 20 laps, and that ends up being half a lap of fuel saved, at the end of the race, that might be the game changer. Especially because we've been green this whole entire time, 50 laps into this thing. Well, we've got Alton Sullins in the chat there. And of course, yeah, the 41 has a badass paint scheme. Yes, it does. All of these guys do, really. I like how unique they all are. Very, very cool to watch. So much talent, you know, guys creating the tracks, the mods, the paint jobs that go on the mods. Each one of these trucks is being driven by a person, you know, sitting in their office at home. Some of them most of them with the steering wheel and pedals. Some of them gamepad. I know Cody, I think Cody uses a gamepad. I can't remember. He might be a keyboard guy. Get out here and race. So far, Terry Bombard and Mark Pagula still are the only 2 drivers that have retired this evening. Brian Rawson, 2 laps down after being reconnected. They gifted all of his laps back, except for 2. Robert Spring, Dan Lovell, Cody Lamas, and Dave Little are 1 lap down. And we have smoke. Yellow flag is up. And we will check out, see what happened there. Thanks again for watching on the YouTube channel live, or, you know, if you're watching it later on demand, or whatever they call it, it's just a regular video at that point. Either way, it all counts, and we thank you very much. Oh, how did I miss this? Oh, okay, so from the 13th spot, Brian McDonald. Oh, just a little tap in the corner sends him around. Definitely going to need some new tires, those guys. Could have been a lot worse. See, these guys are probably going to be coming to pit lane. Yep. We will sit here on the... Now you watch this little stop sign guy. He's going to put the stop sign out, put his hand up, and tell everybody to go again. Got to hold them in the pits because pace cars bringing the pack down. You don't want to get into an accident. So there's Rodney. He's first off. Second off is Roberts, Carroll, and McCarthy, it looked like. What's that say? Mountain Dew Live Wire. Okay, so 38 is your new leader, I think. Maybe not, because some guys would have opted to stay out. Technically, it's Perry Bond right now, yeah. So these guys, let me see here. So you've got Lamas, Perry, Dan, Garland, Brian Rawson, Robert Spring, Graham McDonald, Rodney, I think's in first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's about 8 trucks in front that I'm thinking just might want to get that extra lap. We'll see if anybody else. I'm thinking the top 6 or 7 are going to come in because Rodney, who's right there, is probably going to be your leader. Yeah. So they'll all come down. Now, Rawson's staying out. Is he out of his mind? What is he doing? I'm thinking the lights are going to go off this time, so we're going to be going green next time around. I don't know. I mean, he's taking a chance, I think, on this to try to get the laps back. Because technically... Oh, okay, lights are still on. Good, good. So I know what's going to happen. So right now, he was 2 laps down because he got disconnected. He lost about 8 or 9 laps. By the time he reconnected, there were some drivers a lap down. So they will give you all of your laps back minus 1 from the people who are in the server. So then he was set at a minus 2 from a minus 10. They gave him 8 laps back. So now most people were pitting. He decided to stay out. So right now, he's going to be 1 lap down, which means he would be eligible for the lucky dog. But he's the 4th truck a lap down, and they only allow 2. So it would be the 388 of Dan Lovell and the 48 of Cody Lamas. You can see Cody up top there, getting ready to drive all the way around the back. Now, according to scoring, 388 should be in that same group. Oh, they might be coming to the pits now. Okay. Gotcha. Lights will probably go off this time by everybody decides to go down pit road. Graham McDonald decides to stay out. Interesting. So did a bunch of other drivers, actually. So we've got Graham, Perry, Mike Mangialardi, Javier Negron, Denny Carroll. Cody will get to go around now. He's a lucky dog. Denny remains at the front. I mean, they can't make it on gas. They got to go. Everybody has to come back in one more time. When they're able to do that, that's the question. There's the 388 right there. We found him. He's the second car a lap down. So Dan Lovell gets to drive around as a lucky dog and get his lap back. That will put them on the lead lap. Brian Watson will go down another lap. I thought he had something up his sleeve there. He was going to try to pull a neat little move, maybe skip a pit stop. But, you know, depending on where you're sitting, we were getting near the end of the fuel run, so he probably had to, if you skip a pit stop and you only got 8 laps of gas in your car or 6 laps of gas, you're going to have to come right back in anyway. Scrumptious water. Lap number 56. Lights are off. We will go green again. That was our first yellow of the night. Been a great race thus far. Denny Carroll will lead your pack of misfits back to the restart here at the beginning of lap 56, or at the end of lap 55, however you want to look at it. Right next to him, the 40 truck there, that blue truck of Javier Negron. Row number 2, Mike Mangialardi, Perry Bond. Row number 3, Graham McDonald and Rodney Sullins. Tim Anderson, Bobby Farrell. Brian Lovell and Keith Bynum. And we are green. And we are accelerating. So let's do some quick math. They ran a few yellow laps. There's going to be some guys who can go a little bit farther because they pit at the last minute. So I'm thinking, yeah, everybody still has to pit. Even under yellow. I wonder, though, I mean, that gets them to about 75 laps, and it's a 76-lap race. The guys who pit last, they might be able to make it. It might be really, really close, but they may be able to make it. Like that pack near the back, like Ken Roberts and all those guys who went in at the last second there. And then there was some guys decided to stay out, thinking, yeah, it doesn't matter. We're gonna have to pit again anyway. Who cares? We'll stay out. Some of these guys know how to conserve the gas too. They might be able to pull. They may be able to pull extra laps out of the tank. We shall see. Javier falling back there a little bit. Bottom line, very, very strong, being led by Denny Carroll, Mike Mangialardi, Graham McDonald back up there again in third. He was leading the race. He was way back in the pack a little bit after some green flag pitting, and now he's back up there in third again. And just to remind you how close this actually is. This is the last race of the season. The top 10 drivers only have a 28-point spread between all of them when it comes down to the championship. The only person on that list in the top 10 anyway, that's not here tonight, is Billy Elliser in the 26, Coors Light car. He was unable to make it. So, Coors Light truck. Ken Roberts, you can see out to the right there, looking for a partner on the top line. Trying to find a way to the front of the pack. Putting that truck all over the place. Trying to find some friends to help him start up a new line. It looks like he might have found some people. Brian Ross and Cody Lamas. Looks like Garland Oaks have joined the party. Looks like they want to go 3 wide back there, but they're not really doing it. They're just kind of offset a little bit. I think the strategy is just run in line, because I don't believe that these guys can make it to the end on gas. And if they can, it's close. It's a fuel game today, I think. I've seen these guys do some crazy stuff. It always comes back to Dennis Chambers. We watched him, Rod and I called the race. We watched Dennis Chambers run a whole race on one stop. Not here. It was, I can't remember the track. I want to say it was like a mile and a half deal. A shorter track, not a super speedway. And he did the whole race on one stop. He was going the whole time, so much slower than everybody else. But there was enough yellows that happened to keep everybody pretty close from being lapped, 9 times. And he was able to just run a little bit under everybody else, 4 or 5 mile an hour behind everybody else, which seems super slow when you're talking about a racetrack. But he was only required to pit 1 time. Ended up winning the race and ran out of gas on the burnout, I think. That's why it's one of the best simulators ever. You won't be able to tell any of these guys any different. My name is Blaine, of course, and join us tomorrow at All-Star Racing. We're back here at their version of Talladega for the Superspeedway, the Primetime Superspeedway Series. And then Talladega on Tuesday as well. The Maverick Cup Series has a week off this week. They will return on Tuesday. The race is sponsored by Autism Awareness. So a very good sponsor. Same sponsor as last year over there at Maverick on Tuesdays. That'll be fun. Talladega always gets a huge turnout. And the week after that at Maverick, very cool. We're going to Mexico City on Cinco de Mayo. Been adding a few tracks to the schedule this year. It's a 26 race season over there at Maverick. Going to Mexico City, and they're also going to Quebec. So they're coming up to Canada to race at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. Super cool course. I really do like that course. Every time I get a different racing game, always go and drive around Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Very fast, and it's got some crazy chicanes, but you can hit those things so fast. It's like, for chicanes to be fast, it feels like you're just going to demolish yourself if you miss, and you would. But I think it's a very cool track. And a wicked hairpin. you need first gear and a lot of steering ratio to get around that hairpin as it leads you down to the front straightaway. But yeah, that'll be pretty sweet. I can't remember the date on the Gilles Villeneuve race at Maverick, but we'll be calling it live, so stay tuned and we'll be there. So we are flirting with 10 to go, a couple more laps. Might have to see some pit stops, might not. My quick math gave me lap 75. That's also keeping in mind that the guys who took it to the very end of that cycle and were able to get the maximum run under yellow before pitting, those guys I would think can make it. Because under yellow flag conditions, one lap is kind of like a 2 laps almost, because you're not running full throttle. So they will save a little gas just running under 70 mile an hour. Now, everybody who pitted it earlier in that pit cycle, they may not have enough. So we're going to find out here. I think if we got a yellow flag, I do believe everyone would be able to make it, and you'd see nobody pitting, because then you're into that scenario again of running at a slower speed under pacing, therefore saving gas. That top line trying to make some moves here. Graham McDonald up there being pushed by David Little, who is back on the lead lap in 6th. Wild. Nine laps to go now. I'm just kind of wondering. I'm just waiting to see if anybody might have to peel down to pit road here. Championship on the line. I mean, Graham, I do not believe Graham can win it because he's 28 points out. And they don't run a usual point system here like they would. The game would generate that at like a win as like 180 points. But that's not what they use here. And how the system is set up, they can plug the export into it. It tallies up, first, second, third, fourth, and it does, and you can set the numbers. It uses those numbers to crunch the stats, it spits out the actual stats that you want. Not sure why people change it, but you can, so why not, right? Not to mention, he's going to get the most laps led tonight, I do believe. Actually, I take that back. Currently, right now, lap leading numbers. Denny Carroll in the 5th position. Oh, my goodness. That changes stuff. Yellow flag is out. We will be racing back to the line. That's unfortunate. Everybody might be able to make it now. I guess we're going to find out under yellow. And yellow flag is out. And there's a 4 wide. They weren't 4 wide. No. No way. Were they 4 wide going over the line, eh, bye? Yeah. Yeah, they were. I thought I saw 4 abreast right there. That's crazy. Yeah, you've got Greg Lovell, Cody Lamas, the 44 Brian Lovell, and Mike Mangialardi right there. All 4 of those guys. No big deal, just another day at the track. So let's load this up. Actually, you know what? We got trucks. So we got trucks a lap down. We're gonna get some extra time here under yellow. So I am gonna wait to see if anybody pits. I wonder if they would go now or wait. They wouldn't need to wait. We're within more than enough time. Oh, we might have some shakers. Yep. Denny, Javier decides to stay out. So you can tell who was a little bit too close. Those guys would have been a little bit too close. You won't be seeing anybody else pitting here now. I'm going to back this up and see what happened. I think it happened to Dave Little, which is unfortunate because he was laps behind and found his way back up here. He's in second spot. Oh, you guys can't see that. Second spot. And then just got pushed out of the way there by Ulysses Sandoval. Could have been way worse. Ulysses was able to keep it going. So I wonder if you'll see Ulysses possibly fall to the back, because currently right there he's running in third spot. If they deem that he was the cause of that spin, and I believe it was, he would have to go to the end of the longest line, or just do a drive-through. You might see him drive through the pits and out the other end and go to the end of the line. That might be his penalty. And with only 5 or 6 laps to go, that's not a good time to make a mistake like that. Just going to stay locked on Ulysses and see what happens. Yeah, he's going to go for a drive down pit road. He's going to claim that. He's going to claim that accident as his fault. So to serve that penalty, there'll be a drive-through. He could get service if he wanted to, I believe. I don't know. That wouldn't be a violation. It would be setting you back even farther, right? I mean, stopping for service, it'll add another 15 seconds to your... Yeah, you might as well do it. It's under yellow, you might as well pit. So he's required to serve the penalty by, just hitting the pits, either driving through or getting service. It looks like he's going to get right sides and left sides full service on the 96. All right. That's unfortunate for Ulysses. Because again, he ended up being 7th, 20 points, actually tied with me and Gilardi with 552 points each. Oh my gosh. May have had a chance. I mean, he definitely would have had a chance at gaining some positions. I don't believe he could have won, though. Especially after missing last week. But even on the whole entire season, like I was saying, you've got Keith Bynum's got 3 wins. Greg and Brian Lovell both have 2 wins. And Ulysses Sandoval also has 2 wins. And of course, thank you for watching our playoff coverage here at Primetime Racing. I'd like to thank Graham, Keith, everybody involved with Primetime, all their administrators who are, let's check it live. Graham, Denny, Ken, Keith, Dan. The names that are orange. And Keith, because he's running the Surfers in green. I think. But to all the admin staff. Oh, we're going around one more time. Hey, who are those guys again? Graham. Actually, you guys don't need to. You don't need to look at this ugly screen. You can stare at that. Stay tuned too. There's a lot of vacant space on that, but there's always races in the making. Rolling Thunder's Talladega Challenge will return, I do believe, if they decide to pick up Tarnation TV and the Seth Cole Flat Out Racing combination again. We will make that happen if we can. And of course, the Mobile 10 series run by Toby Robertson was supposed to restart itself last Monday. Did not, had to be postponed. So it's not easy running a league or a series. The way I would look at it is Primetime Racing is the league, and you're watching the Friday night truck Superspeedway series. And same with on the Monday, it would be the Mobile 10 series and the DMR 12 mod. So being part of a league is pretty cool. Like, hey man, what are you doing on Monday? Oh, we got nothing on Monday. Hey, could I run it in my own series on Monday? Yeah, sure. All they have to do is set the server up to be able to do it. Install the mod, install the tracks. Give you access and let you go for it. Pace truck headed to the pits. Lap 73 is about to begin of a lap of 76 laps, so this is going to be a doozy of a finish. The next flag will end the race. Graham McDonald, again, back up front, has led the most laps tonight with 29. Denny Carroll, second place on the laps led chart with 27. John Godfrey looked like he was wanting to go to the outside there. I think he would have got left behind pretty quick if he decided to do that. Nice even start by all parties involved. Not a lot of time to get this done. So potential winners of the championship here, Denny, Brian, and Greg at your top three. Brian, you can see there in that pink 44. Right behind Bynum in the 63. But you've got Greg on that top line. Right behind Godfrey. And they're only 1 point away from each other on the standings. And they're really only 1 or 2 positions away from each other right now on the track. Brian has led 2 laps. Greg has led 1, so they both get the bonus point for leading. Ken Roberts pulling to the... Or he was already on the outside, but pulling out in front there, trying to get the lead. Up number 74. Greg has made the move to get by Brian. Wow. Do they choose to stay there or do they slide down and block? They slide down to block. The 088 of Greg. What a run he's got right now. He is rolling. Tim Anderson in the 33 pushing the 088. Well, this is going to be... The championship might go to the 088. I mean, if you can look at the third line coming. The third line is moving up there. That's Bobby Farrell and Denny Carroll. Ooh, a little bit loose there. These guys are pushing something awful right now. Greg's got to be freaking out. He's got to be driving out the rear view mirror right now. And he does not have one of his teammates, one of his full-time teammates anyway, anywhere near him right now. Where the rule with the level crew is they don't pass each other. Like, you're in the position and they just roll. That's why they're so dominant, because they don't race each other. They've always got, oh, we're running out of real estate. Keith Bynum just moved Graham McDonald out of the way. This is the final lap. Man, I believe you're looking at your season champion here. The 080 in there wrecking in the back. Cody goes up and over. We got the 088 of Greg. Bynum getting a run. Sullins is in there too. Oh my, okay, well, there you go. And now they start crashing. Unbelievable finish. Unbelievable race. 3 yellow flags on the night. Absolutely flawless. The 088 of Greg Level, I do believe, might be your championship winner with that, because you've got him. And if I'm looking at this right, Denny Carroll and Brian. Denny was in 8th. Brian was in 11th. I wonder if that's enough for Greg to leapfrog to the top. Denny finishes 8th. 7 points ahead coming into tonight's race. And all those guys led laps as well. Well, this will be interesting. We'll get a look at Greg doing the old burnout. And I will mute the microphones, fire up the tunes, and then save up all the replays, and we'll figure this out. We'll talk to these guys and see who... I believe you're looking at the race winner and your champion. Now we got to get some cool shots of this, so we'll just rewind here. Whoop. Somebody will probably pull this for a screenshot. Either way, what an awesome race. I will go save up the replays and get a hold of the administration office and do some interviews with these guys. So thanks again for watching. Stay tuned. We'll get right back at it. All right, we're in business. So let me see here. So yeah, Graham just sent me this. And you can see from this, this is unofficial, of course, but Greg was able to leapfrog those two guys and get 5 points ahead with that win to win the race and the championship. So we're going to talk to the top three, and number one is number one in the race as well as the championship. But we got to grab the third place. Keith Bynum. Keith Bynum, live on the air. You got me, buddy.
Hey, Blaine. What's up, buddy?
Oh, man. You guys put on a show tonight, man. What an awesome race. Only a couple of yellows. Fantastic run. I'm just, obviously same kind of deal, getting your perspective on that race. Like, it was coming down to, was there a fuel issue at the end? I was kind of running the math. I mean, the yellow came out. It kind of just, it took that whole problem away. But I had a feeling some of you guys might have had to pit.
Well, the group that I was pitting with, we pitted every time up till the one to go. And we were working around just one lap. We were one lap short, and we were clutching it when we could, letting off when we could. In the middle of all that run, we was. But you know what it looks like when the clutching's going on.
Doing it on a super speedway is crazy to me.
But when we got to that yellow, I mean, I knew I was still showing short, but I knew by the time we lapped around 3 caution laps that I was going to be a lap to the good. So that's exactly what happened. And then that yellow come out at the end. But, it was just like green flag racing, because we raced back to the yellows now. Raced back to the checker.
Yeah, back to the line. Yeah, I forget that sometimes because all the leagues have so many different, not like rules, they just operate little things like that are different. I'm trying to remember who does what, but yeah, man, super exciting race. I've been looking too. You were only able to start like 12 or 13 races this year. You had 3 wins. You might have been in contention for this thing if you would have made a couple more of these things.
Oh, I missed the first playoff race even. I had a friend pass away, and and it got into a week of my racing, and it was okay. Life comes. This game's very fun, and it's an important part of all of for especially all of us that do it regular. It's kind of important to us all. We're very competitive with it. We all enjoy it, but real life comes first always.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, for sure, man.
I want to say hey to my mama if she's still out there listening to us. My 82-year-old mama watches religiously on the RTG Thursday night races and on the Friday, anything we televise that I'm in, she loves to watch it.
That's awesome.
I want to mention that there's anybody that's racing and listening, Primetime Racing hosts an Arrow 88 series on Sunday nights, and there's information on it on the website. But tomorrow night at 9 o'clock we qualify, and we might even get Blaine to do maybe this season's championship race or something. But anyway, I enjoyed talking to you and these other two. You got the main talker that's going to be your last one tonight, and he will fill in any gaps that I didn't mention. I promise.
Yeah, and I had to roll this whole thing solo tonight. Andrew, my backup, he was busy over at CCR, and Rod can really make it on Friday nights. But I hope I did a good job. There's some silence throughout the broadcast because I had to keep pounding that water bottle because
I told them during the race, I had the broadcast on my television next to the screen, and I told them on TeamSpeak during the race, I said, Blaine's by himself. I said, you can just tell by there ain't nobody else talking but him.
Yeah.
You did good, and I appreciate you. Appreciate all the broadcast you and Seth do, and y'all joining forces is even. You have a good commentating ability with Seth, and even Rod. And when y'all all three get together, it's kind of like listening to the real guys up in the booth. Y'all get to carrying on with it, and and get excited about it. And that's fun. That's what makes
It
it
is
good.
cool, yeah. And I've always, for me, I'm all about the production and how it looks, and I can talk, but I need somebody to talk to. That's the problem when I gotta do it by myself. I'm like, oh no, I need someone, you know. But yeah, if anybody wants to sit in the chair when Rod's not able to do it, you know, I'm more than welcome. But yeah, man, thanks for coming down and chatting with us, and congratulations on the podium finish, and you know, an awesome season all around.
Yeah. Thank you, buddy. Talk to you in the next race. Bye.
Thanks, Keith. There you go, Keith Bynum. He's gone. Tim Anderson, you got me.
Yeah, man, I got you.
Awesome race again. I was just talking to Keith there, obviously, but you know, running near the end with the fuel, we were talking about that. I was that the final yellow sort of solidified that whole deal. But yeah, I'm looking at the points too, like so close all the way around every single week.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, I think it was a caution before that last one we had there. Me and Greg, we decided was gonna go in, you know, all 3 times and just take a splash of fuel there. And Greg actually saved enough to where he was actually going to make the fuel run and not have to pit again right there at the end. But the caution come out, and I didn't go on the pits. I clutched all the way around the track to save fuel, and I didn't have to end up going in. So we gained our positions there. And honestly, man, I just kind of rode around tonight and knew I wasn't going to be able to win the championship. So I just kind of stuck with Greg there and helped him a little.
So do you work with Greg regular week after week, or did it just sort of fall into place today because you were just kind of around him most of the night?
No, they're my teammates.
You are part of that crew.
Yeah, I don't know, Blaine, if you know. Greg is my uncle.
Brian Lovell. No way.
Brian Lovell is my uncle, and Danny Lovell is my cousin, and Eric Lovell is my cousin. So those guys are my family.
That's awesome.
And I've been doing this for almost a year now. They got me in here doing this, so I enjoy it, man. I like it.
Oh, it's a ton of fun. I haven't seen Eric in a while.
Yeah, Greg's been trying to get him in here, but who knows? Maybe he'll be here, maybe not.
He's got a full house because every time we talk to him, you can always hear the kids running around in the room behind him. So I think it's probably tough for him to maybe strap the wheel down and get a race in sometimes. But yeah, that's cool, man. My brothers used to play this thing a little bit, but we never played it online. We played a lot, or they did anyway, against the AI, and. But yeah, this game's been around so long. I think everybody's you got to try it. You got to try it. It's just got a feel to it. You know, it just feels right. This game, it's fantastic.
Yeah, probably the best racing game I think there's ever been. But I played it in the early 2000s there when it came out, and I quit playing it for the longest of time. But yeah, man, if Brian would have been up there in the lead tonight, man, roles would have been reversed. You know, because Brian, you know, he had a better chance than Greg had at winning the championship.
And that's what I was looking at, because Greg had to leapfrog these guys, and right down like the last 5 or 6 laps, I'm like, they're all really close to each other, and then Greg just was on that outside line, and you guys were able to roll past everybody. And now it's not a matter of like a position or two. It was a matter of like, well, I guess I could look at this. Where did Brian's down in 11th? And Denny was in 8th. So yeah, like there was a pretty good span there. But the way they run points here is different too. So I was like, I wonder if he's got enough. And he got him by 5.
Yeah, the point system was just where you placed at. I think is how Graham done that. The better you placed, the more points you gained, I guess.
Yeah, they changed it a little bit from the original export, but it is. Yeah, I guess it is pretty similar.
Yeah, I'm surprised they even made it into to the playoffs, man, because I had an awful season in the truck series this year. Just we could not avoid wrecks at all. You know, just one right after another. I don't know how in the world I got in there.
Well, you did, and you ended up being, I think, what did I say, 4th? Yep, 4th. So what is that? 17 points off the lead. Of course, these results you're looking at now are unofficial, but I mean that race was pretty cut and dry. I think that's pretty close to being official. Ulysses got tangled up with some people there, and he served his penalty on the track. So everybody everybody knows the rules and plays it proper. So yeah, man, great race tonight and awesome finish. And thanks for coming down here and talking with us. Do you have anybody if you have anybody you have to thank, let her rip.
Yeah, I like to thank Frank Divins for the paint schemes and stuff on my cars, and Graham and Keith and all those guys for hosting these races, man. And you guys, up here in the booth, weekly, man. Because I know y'all do this weekly, probably,
a lot, yeah.
Yeah, a lot, man. And hats off to you guys, for taking the time out to do this for these guys, man. Because not everybody, would do that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's fun. I never thought I would, driving and then like broadcasting. Who thought that was a thing? But
yeah,
here we are doing it. So
okay, Blaine, I'm gonna step out of here, man, and let you get to Greg. And you have a great night, man. And hopefully we'll get to holler at you soon.
Rock and roll, Tim. Thanks, man. Have a good night.
All right, you do the same, brother.
Thanks. Greg Lovell in the 088 live on Tarnation TV. Man, what a finish that was.
I was nervous, man.
Yeah, you've been nervous the last couple of weeks, man, because I'm watching this thing coming down to the wire going, okay, Brian's right there. Denny's right there. It's like Denny's in first, Brian's in second, you're in third in points overall. I'm like, oh, man, they're too close together. Somebody's gotta make a hop. Somebody's gotta get out there to like solidify this thing. And then it ended up being you. And I was thinking, I don't even know if you're going to get enough points to be able to leapfrog all these dudes. And then Graham sent me the file and you got them by 5 points.
Yeah, I was 7 points behind. Brian was 6 behind.
Yeah.
And Timothy was too far back. I think he was like 13 or 18 out.
Yeah, he was 17 out and ended in 4th. So all 4 of you guys at the top.
Well, okay. Yeah, he knew he was too far out, so he just helped me because he knew he didn't have a chance.
Now that was cool because I didn't realize he was part of the whole crew. Your entire family pretty much plays this game. It's awesome.
My nephew.
Yeah, like you guys have. You've always got someone out there to help you.
Well, he used to race years ago. I mean, he's not a rookie at the game.
No, you could tell.
Yeah, he used to race back years ago when he used to live with me.
Oh, okay.
Me and Danny lived with me at the time too, and me and Danny had 2 computers set up in a spare bedroom I used to have, and Timothy used to race nights, me or Danny Denton. So plus he would get in there during the daytime and stuff. That's when the lobby was open still.
Right. Yeah. All the Sierra servers.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
yeah, I remember that. I remember, like, I might, now that I have a secondary computer now, I'm thinking, like, when I eventually put the old one, I might just use it as a file server or something, but I might actually want to set it up as a race server because then I won't have to switch the broadcast machine around. I could just have a race computer and then have an everything else computer. It's funny how that one game can make you kind of readjust your whole room for it, right? I'm like, this is my NASCAR computer.
Yeah. I don't know what would have happened if Deanie would have finished like 4th.
That's what I was wondering, yeah, because he ended in 8th, and then Brian was back in 11th, so you ended up getting... you beat them by 5 points, but yeah, man, if Denny had another couple of spots, it might have almost been in a tiebreak situation.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Graham gives bonus points to the winner or not. I'm not sure how he does his points.
Yeah, it's in the
So
rule book.
overall, I was 6 points back and I finished. So I gained 11 points on him.
Yeah, it was a great race. I love it when it comes down to a championship like that, and then they just tally the points, and it literally is that close. And 4 to 5 or 6 laps to go is when it all started to change.
Yeah,
and it was great.
When me and Mark hit each other going into the pits,
Yeah,
I didn't know if it was my fault or not, so I did a drive-through for it because I wasn't sure who it was on, and
that's good practice. The rake is then in the post race.
If you're listening to Smart Pagley, buddy, I apologize to you if that was on me, but I did serve, so I made sure I wouldn't get penalized if something happened.
Yeah,
and I ended up finishing good.
Yeah, it's a good call to just serve it, especially earlier in the race like that where you've got time to make the spots back.
Yeah, well, if the caution hadn't come out, Denny would have had it because me, Brian, and Timothy was all three. We was all three ruined if the caution didn't come out.
And Tim mentioned too that you're such a master of like clutching this thing. Like, are you just quickly just kind of hitting the clutch? A super speedway, you think you just have to stay wide open, right? Like, yeah, you do a lot of your saving under yellow.
I do, but if I'm like racing green, like if we're racing green, and I've got a car behind me, I like running half throttle because the car's up in front of you, pull you, but you gotta have a car behind you to do it. When that last caution come out with like 8 laps left, I was only half a lap short of making it.
Wow.
So yeah, I was going to keep saving. I don't think I would have had to pit, Blaine. I think I could have made it.
That's what Tim was saying, because I was kind of looking at it going, some of these guys are going to have to pit, but then I also think, right, like some of you guys are really good at conserving fuel, even under green flag conditions.
Well, if you noticed, we topped off every time by.
Yeah.
On that last caution, because I knew we was going to be maybe a lap and a quarter short, and we could take a splash. If we had to pit, we could have take a splash and made it. And those guys that didn't pit, they was going to at least have to take half a can, and that's like 3 seconds difference.
Yeah, and green flagging it, you're going to lose a lot of track position that too. Yeah, tons. But yeah, man, awesome race, awesome win the race, winning the race guarantees that you win the championship. Phenomenal as always, 76 laps. You only led 3 of them, but that doesn't matter. You ended up coming out with both wins, the race and the championship, man. So yeah, congratulations. And if you got anybody you want to thank, let her rip.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Graham for running the series. He always does, a real good job. Graham's a good guy. He always does the right thing, and he's, level-headed, and he's just a good guy, man. I like Graham. I'd like to thank my nephew for pushing me, and Keith for helping me, and Graham helped me. So they was all 3 behind me, and Rodney was all helping me. So thanks, guys, for helping me out there at the end. And thank you, Blaine, for coming over here. And I'd like to thank whoever paid for the broadcast tonight.
Yeah,
I don't know who did, but thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks again for coming down to chat with us. It was an awesome race. You guys put on a great show, and it's always a pleasure.
Yeah, it came down to the wire. I mean, I was nervous.
Yeah, you were nervous last week, too. I remember we talked to you last couple times we talked to you. You were nervous, or it was
I wasn't as high as I was last week, man. My right foot was shaking.
Yeah,
on my gas pedal.
The Elmo race. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, Greg. Well, congratulations again, man. I know we'll be talking to you again because you know how to get to victory lane. So.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Right on, man. Have a good night.
You too.
See ya.
See ya.
Well, there you go. Your winner, Greg Lovell. Championship winner, race winner. How he clutches and how he does that stuff, like all the tiniest little tricks. But when you're running a 76 lap race, it really does add up. There's no way he should be able to make it on gas, and he's thinking he was about a half a lap in to being able to make it, I believe is what he said. But either way, as always, super entertaining race. I love that truck mod. It's so good. All the drivers who joined tonight, all 23 of you, thank you guys for coming out. Thanks, of course, to Graham McDonald, Keith Bynum. Who else was in there? Danny Carroll, Dan Lovell, and Ken Roberts, all the administrators here this evening, for having Tarnation TV come over here and call this thing. I hope I did an okay job being all by my lonesome this evening. Or what do we got on here for comments on the YouTube? That's the one thing that I can never really keep track of when I'm going solo. Let's see here. Denny Carroll, yellow. This is the YouTube chat, by the way. I'm reading the YouTube chat right now. Denny Carroll says the yellows cost me another one. I will never figure out why we always seem to have 3 or 10. Yeah, it's feast or famine, I find, with the yellows. It'll be the race will either be a dumpster fire and it'll be like 8 yellows, or there'll be like 1 or 2. But that's the great thing about the sim. You never know what's going to happen. Number 41 is a Rodney Sullins painted bullet. Just got trapped in there at the end and couldn't go anywhere. Not a bad run. Benjamin Snyder's in there. Talladega coming up Tuesday at Maverick. Yep, he's talking about my schedule button, which is right there. And yeah, Denny, again, good night to all that watch. Thank you, Tarnation, Blaine, and Rod. Everybody did an awesome job. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, well, like I said, I'm by myself tonight, so I hope I did an all right job for you guys. The season number 7 of the Truck Series here on Friday night at Primetime Racing. As always, the links in the description below. You will find your way towards the Primetime website. There's a Facebook page and everything else available there. Like Keith said, tomorrow night there's an Aero 88 series. Monday, Toby's working on maybe getting the Mobile 1 or Mobile 10, Mobile 1, and he calls it Mobile 10. Or Mobile. I don't know actually how he pronounces it, but it could be like Mobile, Alabama. I don't know. Either way, a lot of fun here at Primetime Racing. That mod on Monday is going to be the DMR 12. And, of course, all the Superspeedway stuff that happens on Fridays and Saturday nights. Why not, right? Join us tomorrow. We're probably broadcasting at Talladega again. Join us on Tuesday. We're probably broadcasting at Talladega again. And, of course, on Cinco de Mayo at Maverick on Tuesday, we'll be at Mexico City. A lot of fun. But anyway, as always, everybody in the YouTube channel who's watching tonight, who's commenting tonight, high numbers again on a Friday night. And, can't thank you guys enough for liking, subscribing, interacting with it, watching it over and over again, and days after it's finished. I don't know what we're doing over here at Tarnation TV that's so different, but people seem to dig it, and we appreciate you. And as always, I think that's all I got to say. I'm going to go to bed. As always, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Keep your stick on the ice.